Already it's week 10 of the season for Ohio football, and before we fly on off to Bowling Green, it's time to slice up the Solich Show. Hi, everybody. I'm Russ Eisenstein, the voice of the Ohio Bobcats. On Thursday night, we were at Donato's on East State Street in Athens to talk about the loss to Buffalo and to preview the game against Bowling Green. The Cats are 6-3, and they're 3-2 in the league. Bowling Green is 6-3, and they're 4-1 in the Mid-American Conference. Here are the tastiest slices from the Solich Show. When you look back at the ball game, your impressions of the loss to the Bulls?
Well, I thought it was a pretty good first half in terms of competitiveness, and both teams struggled to get an offense moving early on, and at halftime, 7-3, certainly within range to get things done. Obviously, the third quarter was a huge quarter that hurt us, and really, just never got back into the rhythm of things once we got to where it wasn't going our way,
Still is a great deal to play for here. Obviously, stranger things have happened. The Bobcats are still mathematically in the running for a MAC East title. However, a lot of things need to happen, and that's not incredibly likely here with 2 losses and the teams that they're going up against. But 9 wins still out there, and bolstering a bowl resume is incredibly important here. Mm-hmm. And I know those are things that you hope that your seniors and your ball club grabs onto and says, all right, let's get it right, and let's get it right now.
Yeah, they know the reality of what's out there and the importance of every game, and with that in mind, you can't start looking just too far down the road at that, but you got to have an understanding of what you got to get done. But then you got to still bring it back to playing, one game at a time, one quarter at a time, one play at a time, and making sure you're just doing the best on those plays that you can, and just let them add up. And if you're doing the right things, generally you're going to come out on top.
Obviously, the hope is that you can recapture that offensive momentum that you had. I mean, what is it going to have to take to get that back within the confines of playing a team like Bowling Green, who's incredibly impressive defensively, but just overall on your side, you have that firepower. Do you have faith that you can recapture that at the end of the season?
Oh,
here?
yeah. Guys have just they've got to step up. They've got to make plays. We got to find a way to get a running game going, and we're working on that pretty hard in practices, working on that pretty hard in meetings, and our players understand what we need to do to be consistent on offense. That's the real key. You can have kind of a flash in the pan series or plays, but in order to be consistent and throughout a game and game after game, you need to get some things done that just add up to giving you an opportunity to win games, and players making plays and playing to your strength in terms of what you're doing, either on offense or defense.
We talked about it, but the impressions from last year and carrying that forward and moving on to now. What do you remember, and what sticks with you about 2012, 2013?
Well, a lot of great things. I mean, again, the association with a group of guys that kind of left their mark on this university and in a lot of different ways. So, and again, moving forward, I think that our team learned a lot from one another last year, and we're just ready to get going. I think it's one of those things that this group of what is now seniors, 5 guys, learned some things positively and learned some things that they didn't want to happen on their senior year. So I think our program's growing.
Obviously, the nuts and bolts question is you have to replace 40 points or more in Mid-American Conference play when you lose guys like DJ Cooper and Walt Offit and Reggie Keeley and Ivo Baltic. The broad stroke question is, how do you do that?
Yeah, I think you do it in a bunch of ways. I think, the one thing that people always forget is when somebody leaves, somebody else gets an opportunity. And I was just having this conversation with one of our seniors today, is that you don't have to do anything different to have a better senior year. You have to do the same exact things. The difference now is you get a bigger role. You don't get to play in a bottle because you're not playing behind somebody who's going to play 30 minutes a night. So you get a chance to play. You get a chance to play through your mistakes, and that's how guys grow. I think that anytime somebody leaves, regardless of how good they are, everybody's always wondering, how can you replace that guy? Well, somebody emerges. Somebody gets better. Somebody does it by committee. There's different ways. I mean, It just always happens. That's college basketball. It's the way it is. It's the beauty of it.
Your impressions of what you see from the Falcons?
Yeah, they're a lot like Buffalo in terms of they got an aggressive defense. They're one of the top teams in the conference defensively in points scored against them, and so teams have not been able to from our conference do a lot against them, and so we're going to have to come up with some imagination and get some things done and get some points on the board in this one, because they play good defense. Now offensively, they got a running back that's another one of those guys that will make you miss and have a chance to go the distance every time he touches the ball. They've got them and Buffalo have two of the better offensive lines, I believe, in the MAC. Now I've not seen Northern Illinois this year. I'm sure they've got a good one. But those two teams have excellent offensive linemen. They have a quarterback that's thrown 65%, so he's second in the MAC in passing efficiency, and so they got a great combination of things.
Tuesday night, we're on the air at 6:30 for a kick at 7:30. It's also on ESPN3. It's the Bobcats and the Falcons from Deutsch Perry Stadium in Bowling Green. That's a Solich Show Slice, and this is Bobcat TV.